And we're happy to have here Harold's student, who was long a colleague of Harold and of myself here, Ricky Pollack, here at Courant, who will say a couple of words.
Hi. I remember Harold very fondly, and I'd like to tell a couple of stories about him. Excuse me. One involves DJ Newman, who many of you may know. He was one of the greatest problem solvers of all time, and he participated here with Harold as a graduate student when he was still an undergraduate at City College. And when he was here, the Institute was at 25 Waverly Place. And Harold was sitting at 25 in the lounge there, telling people about the Ramanujan number, 1729. And I'll tell the story. Ramanujan, when he went to England to work with Hardy, of course, like any normal person, got sick with TB from the food, and he was in the hospital, so Hardy came to visit him in the hospital. I'm fine. Thank you. And Hardy said to Ramanujan, the taxi cab number, the license number, was an uninteresting number. And Ramanujan said, really? What was the number? And Hardy says 1729. And Ramanujan said, that's not uninteresting, it's the smallest number, that's the sum of, excuse me, Donald interrupts and says 1729, that's the smallest number, that's the sum of 2 cubes in 2 ways. And Harold says, wise guy, what's the next number? And Donald had no idea, of course. But it exemplifies a remark Yiddish is made when a mathematician finds something interesting, he knows it and notices it and remembers it. The point is that Ramanujan knew the number from when he was a kid. And let me quote Sylvain, who at some point remarked to me that when it comes to raw smarts, Harold was way out ahead. And there's no question about it. As I think this story exemplifies. I mean, just coming back and saying, yeah, wise guy, what's the next number? That's entirely typical of Harold. I'll tell you one other thing that he really influenced me. Harold told me many times, as a thesis advisor, you have a single responsibility, and that is to get the student his first job. And I've taken that extremely seriously, and I feel that that's been extremely important to me. And I'd say, following Harold, he was an incredible lecturer, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. I filled in lecturing for him occasionally, and he had notes which he gave me. Not only were all the jokes written out, everything was written out. All of his remarks, all of his jokes, on the paper. He was an incredible lecturer, and he never, ever read from a paper. I mean, that was a sin of the highest order. I remember when Stoker used to read from his book, and I found it horrible as a student listening to that. And I think it is a horrible thing to do. And so I recommend anyone who teaches never read anything. Well, thank you very much.